Yeah, good evening, everybody. I hope I am audible. Welcome to this virtual event on the observance of the Constitutional Day, which happens to fall on the 26th of November every year. Now, this was the first time that we are doing it in our school as an event, partly because we have just reopened and we are very, very comfortable with the virtual platform. So we thought when we do it in the virtual platform, parents and students will be able to watch this program and get enriched from the privacy and comfort of their homes. Now, this has been basically planned by the students of BM School State Board with assistance from their staff. Basically, you'll be getting an insight into the Constitution of India, the various salient features of the Constitution, and things like fundamental rights and fundamental duties. The students have planned a lovely presentation, which you will be watching soon. And towards the end, we'll be having expert comments and observations by a practicing lawyer who is an expert in constitutional law and who is a visiting faculty in St. Joseph's College of Law. She will be joining us towards the end of the program. Right now, our students will be taking over into this exciting journey of the Indian Constitution. Please sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
Good evening to one and all present here. Myself, Meena, Assistant Mistress from Senior Grade. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome one and all for today's program, Constitution Day, that is celebrated throughout the nation. My students are waiting here to enrich their knowledge with the points regarding the Constitution Day. So, let me not waste much of your time and invite our Kannada master, Mr. Vijay Kumar Saw, to give a song on Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar ji.
ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನೆ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿಯು ದಾರಿ ದೀಪವು ನೀನೆ ಕಲಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಸಮಾನತೆಯನು ಏಕತೆಯನು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನೆ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿಯು ನೀನೆ ಕಲಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಸಮಾನತೆಯನು ನಿನ್ನ ಲೇಖನಿಯ ಬರಹ ದೇಶ ಕರ್ಚನೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಕೂಡ ಭೀಮ ಘರ್ಜನೆ ನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ಮಹಾನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ನೊಂದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನೀ ದೇವರೋ ಜಗ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಜೈ ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ಸಂಕಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದೆ ಆಗಿ ಆಧಾರ ಆಗಿ ಆಧಾರ ನಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಅಸಮಾನತೆ ಈಗ ದೂರ ಕರಗೋಯ್ತು ಭಾರ ಮರೆಯಾಯ್ತು ದೂರ ಸಂಕಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದೆ ಆಗಿ ಆಧಾರ ನಿನ್ನಿಂದ ಅಸಮಾನತೆ ಈಗ ದೂರ ನೀ ತೋರಿದ ದಾರಿಲಿ ದೇಶ ಸಾಗಿದೆ ಸೂರು ನೀರು ಭೇದವೀಗ ದೂರವಾಗಿದೆ ನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ಮಹಾನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ನೊಂದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನೀ ದೇವರೋ ಜಗ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಜೈ ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ಮಹಾನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ಭೀಮರಾವ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Yes, that was a nice song, and we have got our expert lawyer who is joining us here. Let me introduce her very briefly. She is a visiting professor in St. Joseph's College of Law. She has a very, very rich CV behind her. She is Megha Jobanputra, who has done her BCom with a vocational course from the Kurukshetra University, and then her MBA with dual specialization in finance and marketing. She then worked for corporate for a few years and then worked as a lecturer in some of the top business schools in Delhi and NCR. She was a part of the quality improvement program at IIT Delhi in the area of intellectual property rights and FDP in strategic management at IIM Lucknow. Then, after completing law, she worked at a law firm for some time and is currently having her own law firm, Advocates Close. Her areas of interest are company law, contract law, property law, and IPR. She currently practices in the Karnataka High Court and other courts in Karnataka. She is joining us and she'll be observing the program, and towards the end of the program, she will be giving her expert comments on the subject. Welcome, Megha, for this online Constitutional Day celebration.
Thank you, sir.
So we will now have our students taking forward.
Good evening and welcome to all.
And welcome to all.
Darshan,
Can you guess why
No
are we
idea,
here today?
Mansi. Can you brief me about today's virtual meet?
that's right. Today is 26th November.
Today
Are you
is
getting any
26th
idea
November.
what is
Are you
special
getting
about
any
today?
idea what
Is it
special about
Rajyotsava Day
today?
celebration?
No, Darshan.
Is it Children's Day
No,
celebration?
Darshan.
No.
Is it the birthday
No.
celebration of former Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi?
No, Darshan. Let me tell you.
No,
Today
Darshan. Let me tell you. Today is Constitution Day. It is also referred as Law Day. It is celebrated on 125th birth anniversary of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who was the first Law
Well,
Minister of
friends,
India.
let us know and understand about the Constitution, which is observed every year on November 26th.
What is Constitution, Darshan?
What is Constitution, Darshan?
Constitution is a set of rules and regulations guiding the administration of a state. It is prominent as it is the fundamental law of the country. Our constitution is a written constitution with 470 articles in 25 parts with 12 schedules. It is the lengthiest constitution in the world.
Darshan, let us know how and when our constitution was drafted.
I, Syed Rahman of 10th will brief you about how our constitution was drafted. Our Constituent Assembly formed a committee. The committee members studied various constitutions of various countries and selected the best of it and formed our constitution. Hence, it took 2 years, 11 months, and 17 days to complete its work. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the President of the Constitutional Assembly.
Attaining our ideals. Our means should be pure as the end.
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee.
If I find the constitution being misused, I shall be the first to burn it.
The Constituent Assembly consisted of 389 members. Some of the eminent members were Jawaharlal Nehru,
Facts are facts, will not be disappear. Facts are facts, will not be disappear.
K.M. Munshi, C. Rajagopalachari, and many others. Our constitution was drafted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he is the chairman of our drafting committee.
Mansi, now we understood about the Constitution and Drafting Committee. Now let us know about the preamble of our Constitution.
Preamble is considered as the heart of the Constitution. It is considered as the introductive chapter of our Constitution. It begins, we, the people of India, having solemnity to resolute the Constitution of India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all the citizens.
Darshan, let us know the meaning of sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic.
Yes, Monty, I'll explain you about it. Sovereign. India is a sovereign country, but not under the control of any other country in the world. Socialist. The goal of our constitution is to create social equality and promote all the welfare of all the people in our country. Secular. The government is expected to make no discrimination basis on the religion equality. The government considers no religion as national religion. Every citizen stands at the freedoms to practice any religion of its own choice. Democratic republic. Democracy is in the form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The fact is that the head of our country is the president of our India, who is elected for a period of 5 years. Proves that our country is a republic.
Eastern understood about preamble of our Constitution. Now let us know about the unique features of our Constitution.
Our constitution has its own unique features. One of them is fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are the basic rights given to an individual by the constitution for his development. They are constitutional rights. No one can violate these rights. They are being protected by the judiciary and they are essential for the development of the democracy. The 6 fundamental rights guaranteed by our constitution are right to equality, right to freedom, cultural and educational right to religion, right to constitutional remedies, and against exploitation.
Let me tell you about right to equality. All are equal before the law, nobody is above the law, and they also deserve equal protection. The government cannot be discriminated on the basis of religious, gender, caste, sex, and the place of birth.
Right to freedom. This fundamental right allows us to speak and freedom of expression. It allows us to participate in peaceful public meeting, to travel throughout the country without any discrimination and restrictions, to stay in any part of India, and to take up any employment, business, or occupations.
Culture and education rights. All the citizens of a country have their own language, script, and culture. It is a duty of the state to protect them. This right protects the religious and linguistic minorities.
Right to religion. The citizens of India have rights to accept and follow religion of their own choice. Everyone have rights to observe their religious practice without any disturbance of peace, discipline, hygiene in mind.
Rights to constitutional remedies. The Constitution has not only given the fundamental rights to the citizens, but also generated them under the law of 32. Whenever the rights are violated, either by a person or the state government or central government, the citizens can directly appeal to Supreme Court for their protection. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has called this right as heart and soul of the Constitution.
Rights against exploitation. Objective of this right is to prevent exploitation of poor, women, children, and weaker sections of the society. In order to restrict exploitation in the name of gender, caste, religion, and sect, the state and central government have ensured many laws.
Darshan, we have got a brief idea of fundamental rights. As a citizen of a country, what are our duty towards our nation?
Rights and duties are the two sides of the same coin. Rights without duties have no value and significance. The fundamental duties of our constitution are to respect constitution, national flag and national anthem, to follow the noble ideals that inspire the struggle of freedom, to protect the unity of India, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, to preserve the rich heritage of our India.
Let me continue now. To protect and improve our natural environment, to develop the scientific terms and the spirit of inquiry, to develop the scientific to respect our environment, to protect parents and the guardians should provide compulsory education to their children from the age of 8 to 16 years. The strike of excellence and the objective and other activities
Darshan, we have duties towards our nation. So let's take it oath that we will follow them. Darshan, when our constitution was drafted and was ready on 26th November, why did it come to force only on 26th January?
Very good question, Mansi. The Constitution of India was adopted by the Constitution Indian Assembly on 26 November 1949, but it came into force on January 26, 1950. This was the day when the National Congress leaders declared that India will only settle for the Purna Swaraj and nothing else. Dominions offered by the British regiment deemed unacceptable by the Congress leaders. On January 26, 1950, 2 copies of handwritten constitution were signed by the members of the assembly, and after 2 days, the Indian constitution came into the force. On January 29, 1950, Dr. Rajendra Prasad gave an remarks. This was a remarkable day in the history of the Indian constitution. Even if the president or the prime minister violates the constitution, he may be impeached before the tenure by the member of the parliament. The parliament acts as a judge of the court, record, provide the
Let
punishment
us
for
join
all its
together
content.
and follow the duties and enjoy the rights. Instead of asking what our country have done to us, let us create a thought that what we can do for our country.
Yeah, that was a nice show. That was a nice show. Well done. We had a good insight of the various aspects of the Constitution. I hope Megha is here. Megha, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Okay, I hope you were watching the presentation by the students and attempted by them to give an insight into the Constitution. But now we would like some expert comments from your side as visiting faculty in constitutional law at St. Joseph's College of Law and your rich experience in the field of legal jurisprudence. Over to you, Megha.
First of all, it gives me immense pleasure to see such enthusiasm in the students, how beautifully they have explained the preamble, how beautifully they have explained the fundamental rights, how beautifully they have explained the Constituent Assembly. It gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this particular program. Now, you know, as they say that though we got independence in the year 1947, but true independence we got when we adopted our constitution. The true liberty, the true fundamental rights we got only and only when we had our own constitution. We may have got independence 3 years prior to that, but independence in the true sense was bestowed upon us only and only when we had our own constitution. Interesting fact about the Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly met for the first time 75 years ago on 9th of December 1946. And this year we are actually celebrating the Platinum Jubilee of that particular occasion. The deliberations of the Constituent Assembly continued till November 26, 1949, when the Constitution was adopted. As rightly pointed out by the students, the Assembly's sitting was spread over 1,084 days. That means 2 years, 11 months and 17 days. It held 11 sessions covering 165 days, of which 114 days were devoted to the consideration of the draft constitution. Today, we have 448 articles, 12 schedules, and 105 amendments in the Indian Constitution. As rightly pointed out by the students, our constitution is in fact, it is the lengthiest constitution, lengthiest written constitution in the world. Our forefathers, our Constituent Assembly, they researched and they have put together the best of US Constitution, the Irish Constitution, and all the other countries. The best part of those constitutions have been incorporated in our Constitution. The members of the Constituent Assembly had hoped that it would be a socially transformative piece of document, as they call it, the cornerstone of a nation, a bulwark against the executive legislative excesses and discriminatory tendencies. The Constitution contained not only a nation's ideals and people's rights, but also the sorry, I was muted. We have division of powers, we have our judiciary, we have executive, we have legislative. We call them the three pillars that the Constitution has given us. And the most important rule of law, which Professor No man is above law, whether whatever be the rank of that particular person, but we all are, below the law. Law is above all, and the mother of all laws in India is the Constitution. Whether it is the question of anything being ultra virus, the Constitution, obviously that cannot prevail. We have judicial review. We have the power of judicial review for each and every law that is being passed in the country. So for whatever problem that the judiciary encounters, that the legislature encounters, or even the executive encounters, the answer to all our questions lies in this particular mother law, which is the world's lengthiest written constitution. Also, very interesting fact, because our law is based on common law, as we were a British colony at a particular point of time. In UK, there is no written constitution. There, the liberties are given, the liberties lie in judicial decisions. But in India, unlike US, in US, their fundamental rights are absolute. But in India, we do have reasonable restrictions when it comes to exercising our fundamental rights. So we have a blend of the best features of all the constitutions around the world. And another very interesting fact about our Indian constitution is that we have something called a basic structure theory. So a landmark judgment, in fact, the only case in the Indian history that was decided by a 13-judge constitutional bench in 1973, when Justice Sikri was our Chief Justice of India, Keshavananda Bharti versus State of Kerala. In that particular case, it is also known as the basic structure case. The courts held, the Honorable Supreme Court held that the basic structure of our constitution cannot be altered. Hence, governments may come and governments may go, but this piece of legislation, our mother law, is always going to stay with us. And no matter what government comes, the basic structure of our Indian constitution can never be altered. So that is the beauty of our Indian constitution. We have provisions of emergency. In fact, we have a very cumbersome process of amendments. Recently, there has been amendments brought into, in the area of GST. GST is a very new law. It was brought into picture. So there were amendments that had to be carried out in the constitution. But our constitution is a very rigid constitution. So we have something, we have a procedure to follow, even if we have to amend a particular provision of the constitution. Similarly, as I said, that there are 105 amendments that have been brought till date. But no matter what the number of amendments, we cannot alter the basic structure. We will always be a democratic country. We will always have our freedom. We'll always have our fundamental rights. This is a basic structure which cannot be altered. And another very important concept of our constitution is judicial review. No government can pass any arbitrary law. Any law which is passed by the legislature is open to judicial review. If one thinks that there is a legislation passed, farm laws were, talk of the town. We have CAA, we have NRC. So all these laws, if the citizens think that these laws are arbitrarily passed by a government, no matter that government is a democratically elected government, still each and every law is open to judicial review. That is the beauty of our Indian constitution. I think students have covered all parts of the constitution, and there's nothing more left to add to it. But I'm certainly open to any questions if any of the students have to ask. And it was really, really a pleasure to see such enthusiasm in students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megha. We are looking forward for a day when we can personally invite you to our school and have a one-on-one session with our, particularly our 9th and 10th standard students who have this constitution as a part of their syllabus in civics. So it would be nice if we could invite you to our school where you can have a personal interaction with the students. Thank you so much for your time. It was really informative. We gained a lot of insights about the uniqueness and about the pride of our constitution from your presentation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to the podium, please. Manju can take over.
Now I request Mrs. Prishila to propose vote of thanks.
As we come to the end of today's event, the day will not be completed unless I thank some of us. On behalf of all of us present here, I, Prashila, take the privilege of thanking our special invitee, legal expertise, Ms. Megha Rani ma'am. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am, and giving us valuable information and insight on the Constitution. Thank you, ma'am. I thank our chairman, Shri KSV Subramaniam sir, our managing director, Dr. Rajesh sir, our admin officer, Ms. Girija ma'am, our principal, Shamala ma'am, our vice principal, Srimati Kalpana ma'am, for encouraging and guiding us and bringing us this day to the forefront. Thank you, ma'am. I also thank all the participants who put in great efforts in making this day a successful one. Thank you, students. Finally, I thank all our parents. I thank all our parents, students, viewers, and all my colleagues for joining us today and helping us to make this day a grand success. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Now, let us all join for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे Thank you.
Hey, listen what ma'am said.